drivel you read is of Tony Messenger's. I only say that, Tony, because I saw your tweet from a less than enthusiastic reader of yours.
That's pure drivel.
Pure drivel. I apologize.
Only the purest drivel. None of this weak generic drivel. I write pure drivel and pure drivel only. Remember that.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's St. Louis Post-Dispatch columnist, and he's with us every Tuesday and Thursday. We can't get anything right. We can't even get fire consolidation correctly, can we?
Well, we can't. And as you noted, I wrote my Sunday column about this at least so far failed attempt to create what I believe, what Kurt Becker, the local fire union representative, believes was a sham attempt to create fire consolidation. So 5 cities in St. Louis County: Clayton, Maplewood, Richmond Heights,
Rock Hill.
Rock Hill and Brentwood were talking about combining their fire command to be more efficient, to work together as fire departments and sort of get into the spirit of this, consolidation that is clearly on people's minds politically. But what they actually did was they created an atmosphere in which they weren't getting rid of a single fire chief. In fact, the fire chiefs were going to make more money. In fact, the consolidation was going to cost every city more money for fire service, not less. And they didn't actually increase service. And so the firefighters who were basically shut out of the process and had some ideas ultimately came out against it. And Rock Hill dropped out, and so now they're going back to the drawing board. And what it looks like to Kurt Becker, who I interviewed in my Sunday column, and frankly it looks like to me, was this is one of those sort of look at the shiny object moments where all of these cities that are generally worried that some sort of city-county consolidation or statewide vote on St. Louis becoming a unified region might ultimately cause them to lose their power, lose their fiefdoms. They came out here with this, look, we're in favor of fire consolidation, but they didn't actually do it. They could consolidate if they wanted to, and it wouldn't be that hard. They could get rid of their fire departments and create one fire district for all of those cities. They could, all of them, contract to the biggest department, Clayton. Just get rid of the fire department's contract. You lose all those fire chiefs. You lose a bunch of those positions. You can put some of that savings into more firefighters so that there's actually 4 firefighters per truck rather than 3, which is what each of those cities operate now. There are lots of things they could do, but instead they went out and spent all this money on a consultant's report and proposed something that actually cost more money. And so it's the cautionary tale as we continue to move toward the day in which somebody, probably better together, promotes a consolidation plan for the city, for the county, for all of the municipalities and fire districts, for something that's going to affect all of us. The details really matter, and the details in this proposed fire command unification were pretty bad, and it was not a good process.
So, Tony, opening this up to the larger question, and that is there are so many little nuances and, as you say, so many little fiefdoms that any one person could throw a wrench in any of this. So the larger point is it doesn't bode well for any type of consolidation if 5 fire districts can't figure out on their own how to get it done because they want their own fiefdoms protected. Doesn't give us much credibility or much encouragement for the future of some type of consolidation.
Well, except for the fact that I think what you have going in, I'm not convinced those 5 cities were serious about consolidation, because if they were, they would have gone about it in an entirely different way. What they ended up with looks like it was an attempt to let people know they were in favor of consolidation, but not actually consolidating. One of the points I made in the column is the fear that a city like that would have if they did it right Let's say they actually went in and realized, okay, we don't need 5 fire chiefs. That's ridiculous. We need 1. We don't need 17 battalion commanders. We need 5. We need 6. We need whatever. What if they actually went in and did a real consolidation and saved money and moved some of that money around? Now taxpayers are going to start asking serious questions, such as, why do we still have 5 city managers? If we can get by with 1 fire chief in this relatively small area, why do we still need 5 city managers? And that was one of the points Kurt Becker made. He said, look at this area. It's about 10 square miles, 45,000 people. There are cities much bigger than that, Columbia, Missouri, for instance, that only have 1 fire department, that only have 1 city manager, and that operate pretty well. So why do we have 5 city managers in that 10 square mile area? What services do we get for 5 city managers and 5 city attorneys and 5 city finance managers and 5 HR directors and 5 police chiefs and 5 fire chiefs? That's the great question as it relates to how St. Louis operates as a region. We don't need to operate that way. And why is there opposition to consolidation? Because all of those folks that I just mentioned are making over $100,000 a year, and they don't want to give that up.
Yeah, you mentioned better together, and you mentioned in the column, we talked about it when it first came out, but is it possible that the St. Louis City and St. Louis County combined spend $2.5 billion on fire departments?
Well, it's not just fire departments, on all municipal services. So it's the city, it's the county, it's all the municipalities and the fire districts, and all that stuff added together is $2.5 million on what are traditionally considered municipal services, and almost $1 billion more than Indianapolis and Louisville when trying to make as close as you can to an apples to apples comparison. And the situation I just described is exactly why. You have and if we want to expand, it's we can get beyond city managers and city attorneys. Why we have 24 superintendents making some of them over $200,000 a year in St. Louis County. It's that kind of thing. When you start spending big money on all of those top positions, and those top positions tend to be the people that control the boards, even though the boards are supposed to be elected by the people, that creates this atmosphere that we have where a lot of the bureaucrats fight this concept of consolidation. When I talk to my neighbors, when I talk to voters, most of them get it. I don't talk to too many people who just say, oh, yeah, I've got to have my city because I really enjoy spending my taxpayer dollars on an extra fire chief and an extra police chief and an extra city manager. Yep, that's what I want. I don't talk to too many regular people who tell me that.
That's not drivel. That's pure drivel from the typewriter and the word processor of Tony Messenger, St. Louis Post-Dispatch columnist, and with us every Tuesday and Thursday. Tony, thanks for checking in.
Good to talk to you. Have a great day.
8:26, Big Five.